Hi there. So I'm going to show you my very super quick, simple lockdown manicure. And this is really to get healthy hands. So this is not a glam manicure look. This is something that keeps our nails strong and healthy. So this is a really good time, I think, to be taking your nail polish off. So if you're somebody who's using gels or shellac or lots and lots of nail polish all the time, then this is a good opportunity to let our nails breathe, because the problem with polish and shellac is that it just is very occlusive, and that's why our nails can become very brittle and yellow and split. So while no one's watching, let's get it all off and have naked nails. So what I like to do is keep my nails quite short. You would obviously want to trim them all pretty much to the shortest length. So whichever is your shortest nail, then you could kind of match that. If your nails are quite long, I would suggest using nail clippers like this to clip the ends off, because otherwise you're going to be sawing backwards and forwards, and that can stress the nail. In terms of nail filing, I like to use a half moon shaped nail file like this. I buy these in blocks, packs of 10. I'll put all the links actually up in a online feature afterwards, so you can just see exactly where to go to grab everything that I talk about. And if you can remember, try and file only in one direction rather than going backwards and forwards like that. Again, not to stress the nail. And particularly at the moment, I'm finding that the ends of my fingers, the fingertips, are so dry with all this constant hand washing. So what I've got here is I've got dry hands and fingers. I actually washed my hands really well. So my nails were prepped, but they are dry, and that is really helpful actually for just going around the ends of your fingertips, just where the cuticles are, and just filing away. Now remember that with your nails, little and often is the key, I think, rather than just doing, once a week manicure or once every 10 days, giving your nails a big blitz. If you can give them just a little bit of love every couple of days, so you're going to keep them relatively short, I would suggest at the moment. And I find that my nails grow so fast now. I think it's replacing all that estrogen, because nails love estrogen, the same with hair. So if your nails and your hair grow quickly, then you know that you are doing something right with all your diet and nutrition. You can take supplements for nails. You can take things like biotin, you can have silica. Again, I've got a feature online all about that if you want to strengthen your nails. So just get them into roughly the right shape. Mine actually don't need a huge amount of attention, because I do tend to do them quite regularly. But then once I've done that, I would just check for cuticles. And I don't believe in cutting your cuticles, but sometimes it's really necessary just to trim them. So I would take an orange stick. So I'd use a wooden orange stick. I don't know why they're called orange sticks, but anyway, they are. And just push back your cuticle. My nails are already relatively soft because I've washed them with soapy water. And then if you get any little sort of hang nails, any little bits of cuticle, you could then just take your cuticle nippers and just really carefully just nip those away. But you do not want to go around and cut. I've seen awful technicians sometimes, particularly overseas, when they just cut all the cuticles, cut all around. And the problem with that is, okay, so it looks really nice and neat and soft the first time they've done it, but within a matter of days, these cuticles grow back, and they grow back tougher than ever. So if you are cutting your cuticles, it's really worth getting out of that habit. Just a tiny, tiny trim where you might need it so they don't rip and tear at the edges. So these are useful gadgets to have, but be using them with care. So the other little thing that I like to have always in my nail armory is one of these blockies, and this has got 4 different surfaces. So the first one is the nail file, then you have a ridge remover, then you have a nail smoother, and then the shiner. So this is really foolproof. So after I've done my main filing with an emery board like this, which is quite abrasive, this blocky is much gentler. And this is really good to go round This is one of the ones that I would have. I keep one by my bed. I keep one in the bathroom. You know, it's really good to do if I'm listening to the radio. I'll just sit and give my nails a little buff, because you can do cuticles with them. You can just keep your nails into a good shape. So that's number one. And then number two is remove ridges. And this is really important as we get older, because our nails, unfortunately, do develop ridges. And it's a bit like wrinkles on our skin. It's just one of the things that happens as we age. And if you do this regularly, every few days, you can just keep the ridges down. You can actually buy ridge fillers. They look a bit like nail varnish base, but they're a bit thicker. And the idea is that they fill in a bit like a kind of poly filler. So having done that, I always use a little white towel when I'm doing my nails. Have that there, because you get lots of white bits of nail dust that goes everywhere, particularly if you've got a lot of filing to do. So having done that, I would then use my next secret weapon, which is a nail pencil. And I've got one here. So this is a specific white nail crayon, and I've been using these for literally decades. I mean, I have lots around. This was one that I've found in one of my makeup bags. You can see, you know, that you get them, they're quite long, and then you sharpen them. You need to sharpen them quite often, because what you want is you want a really fine point, because what that does is that's the actual tip that you push under the tip of the nail. And what this does is it gives you like the effect of a French manicure, but without any polish. It's foolproof. If you wanted to, you could put a pale pink polish over the top of this. But what I also like about it is it just creates that nice half moon shape as well. So it just gives you healthy looking nails, because you've buffed them. So that helps the blood flow. So they are actually physically going to get healthier. And then on this edge here, this is smooth nails. So once you've done that, you can then give your nails a smoothing buff. And then the last thing that I'm going to do actually is apply a nail oil. Now, you do not need to spend a lot of money on a fancy nail oil, okay? You really don't. Nails love oil. It's a bit like hair. You know, hair loves oil because hair and nails are made of the same dead protein called keratin. And so you can help to kind of feed that. You're not physically feeding, obviously, because it's a dead protein, but it really, nails just absorb oil. They really do respond well to it. So I've got a little jar, little bowl here. This was a nail oil, I think, that I bought a while ago, because it's got the little applicator. And then I just fill it up. I just buy ordinary almond oil and then just fill that up. Or I will use like a little empty aromatherapy bottle, keep that topped up with almond oil. You could use other oils. You could use rapeseed oil or grapeseed oil, peach kernel oil, anything really nice and light that's nice to have on the skin and isn't too sticky or smelly. So I wouldn't use olive oil, for example. That'd be a bit too thick for this. But nails love oil, so just either dip your nails into the oil, or if you have got a little brush, a little leftover brush, you could even use a makeup brush if you wanted, like a lip brush. You can just paint that around the cuticles and then rub it in. This is really nice. You can do this, you know, while you're sitting and watching the TV in the evenings. I usually, when we're out and about traveling, I'll have a little bag in my handbag of emergency repairs, and I've usually got a bottle of nail oil and one of these blocky files, because it's just a really simple thing that you can sit and do. And then you kind of want to just use that smooth edge of the block just to really, I guess you're pushing the oil into the nail. So you're just really helping with the blood flow, the circulation. You are pushing that oil, working it into the cuticle to keep the cuticles dry, which means that they will be slightly healthier. They'll be less prone to dryness and splitting. They'll feel more comfortable. And then last but not least, this number 4 is shine. Now, if you want a high shine on your nail, then this is what you would use, because this is kind of like the polishing one. I don't always use this because it can look a little bit unnatural. You get a really high gloss. A lot of guys do this actually if they want just a really smart, polished look. Obviously, they don't necessarily want to wear nail varnish, but they would like to have healthy, nice looking nails. And there you go. That is literally all I do. A couple of other little tips really for emergency repair. If, like me, you're finding that your hands are so dry and chapped, and you know we should be washing our hands all the time, shouldn't we, after going out or touching anything. I'm getting little nicks and splits on my fingertips, and so I use this Germaline. It's like a liquid plaster, and I'll show you how that works. So I've got a little nick, for instance, on my index finger of my right hand. So this comes with a little spatula here, and I would just dot that on there. Ouch, 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 it's quite stingy. And it's very antiseptic, which I guess is good to have at this time. Not particularly attractive, but it really works because it's also waterproof, so it means that it survives lots of hand washing. So this is another little bottle of miracle stuff that I have with me. And then the other thing that you can use at night time, I use my medical grade purified lanolin. This is also something that is really good for helping to repair very dry, chapped skin. So I would use just a little bit of this. And it is sticky, so you don't particularly want to use it during the day, but I would use that around the nail tip. It's a bit like an overnight intensive treatment mask for your nails. Just put that over the nail tips. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes. And then, of course, you can apply your favourite hand cream over the top of all of that. Put an extra layer on at night so that your hands are really thick and sticky. And then you can just, while you sleep, let that absorb and work its magic. And then by the morning, you will have really healthy, happy hands. I hope that's helpful.